G'day, this is Bruce and welcome back to my shop. The battery run down there on that movie number 233, so we're now into movie number 234. And we talked about things that I've done this week, and there's a few others on the run. I managed also this week to reclaim my my flat area on the workbench, but that's obviously, if you looked at the previous movie, that's gone to hell. Anyway, we have a few other things that we have to do this week. A job that came in on Friday, and I'll show you that one. And this is from a drilling. I'll see if I can get in a bit closer there. We'll do some. Bear with me. I'll do some adjusting. This is a bearing unit, and has a flange here with I think it's 16 threads through it. And I have two of those outside. I have another one outside, and what we need to do with it is to set up the sparker rotor. And we need to erode out the broken tap that's inside, and then we need to set it up and do all the threads. All the threads are only half cut. It's 42 Rockwell C, so it's a pretty tough job. I did two of them over the last month, and I've now got another two to do. So there's a good day's work in getting those two sorted, probably even a little bit more. Now that's another job that's in for this week. So today I was at the wood show and sniffing around there, looking at some of the beautiful stuff that people do. Guys in their 70s, 80s, 90s. It's a beautiful stuff. There's fantastic equipment. Not that I have the time to be dabbling in the woodwork anymore. But certainly there was a lot to be done, and apparently it was very well received again this year, and I think most of the distributors are pretty happy with what they've done. Anyway, one of the things that I discovered there today was this hammer. Now this hammer has had a bit of use. And it's probably not the original handle. This handle has what I mean. It's pretty rough, and the ball peen on the end here, as you can see, has been smacked and bashed and knocked around. There's no brand on it. There's no branding on it whatsoever. However, this is a unique hammer, and the uniqueness is that it is a branding hammer. This hammer, apparently, and hammers like this, were made individually for the logging people. So when they cut a tree down, they would smack the end of it and put their brand on that log. In particular, those where there are floating logs down the rivers, because they were felling the logs. They'd get rolled down into the river and then collected at the other end. And this was the way that the loggers or fellers got paid. So they actually claimed ownership on a log when they cut it down, and they'd also stamped the stump, I believe. I'm not full bottle on this, but there are people that would know a lot more about it. So this is quite unique, and it's in reverse. The markings here are in reverse, so that when you bash the end of the timber, you've actually got a marking that you can read. And each one of these was made specifically for a person. And this has been forged probably by a local blacksmith. Where it comes from, we don't know. And that's the reason why the ball end has been so badly knocked about, is because they've been probably hitting with it, and maybe also hitting on top of it with the back of the axe to get a full imprint into it. So that's a nice one from my collection, and I hope Mr. Tom Lipton takes note of this, that I might have something that he doesn't have. Another item I came across is for my Get Her Out collection. Now, most of my collection of the Get Her Out is broken bolts and studs and pins and things that I've pulled out. A lot of them have already gone to the scrap metal, but I do have bags and bags of it. But one of the things that caught my eye, and I thought I have to have this, is this item here. This is an easy out, or supposedly easy out, and it's marked there as a number 8. If we can see it there. It's a number 8, and it says drill 1316. Now, I don't believe this thing has ever worked, and I wouldn't be game to use it either, because if you want to get the thing jammed in there, use this. So that'll be part of my collection. Maybe I'll make a pendant of it or something. Another Get Her Out tool that I found, which I've never seen before, but I've heard about. My father told me about this tool, and this is it here. Now, it's got a tapered screw end on it, and of course a very long screw and a square head on the other end here. Now, what my father said was and I never actually saw one, even though Dad had all the tools for making spokes for wood wheels, but he said he had one of these, and when the wagon wheels, when they had to re-spoke them, sometimes you'd have the spokes in there and they were jammed in so hard it had difficulty knocking them out. The same with ladder stiles. So what they used to do is they used to drill a small hole and they'd screw this in and then put a block of wood with a hole in it, if they needed to a gap, and then they would turn this and screw it down, and by way of doing that they would extract out the part. Now, it may have also been used for other things as well. It may have originally been designed for something else. It's been quite well made by a blacksmith, so that's a pretty unique Get Her Out tool, I would say. The fourth item I picked up there is this item. It's been quite well made. It's all ground, and it has a sliding taper bush on this end as well. And this is branded as W&B number 5100, looks like a D, 5100D. This was actually stuck when I picked it up this morning, and I thought, no, that's got to be a movable. So I just put it in the vise and moved it a little bit with a water pump clamp, pliers, loosened it up, put a bit of oil on it, and that's definitely moved. Now, underneath this tape, bear with me a sec. Underneath this tape is a cutter, and it's in a round pocket. It has a screw in here for obviously to hold that little V. And we can get a bit closer there. That little V in there, and that's a cutter, and it feels quite good. So this is obviously for seating or cutting a seat, because the edge, the top edge of that cutter is just above that change in diameter. So I would hazard a guess that this gets fitted onto something that of course gives it the connection on the other side, and then that's screwed down, and that cuts a groove or a counterbore or whatever. Now, there may be somebody, maybe Mr. Pete knows a bit more about this sort of thing. I have never seen one before. So yeah, so that's a mystery tool, really. So that's about it. I just remind people that the Getter Out Australia, let's see what you can see, my Getter Out Australia gear indicator is available for sale, and I'm selling it both in America or all over the world, and in Australia as well. You can find that on my website, or you can make a phone call to me or send me an email. Let me see if you can see all of that. Email to on my YouTube channel or the Getter Out. We've got all of that information here, and these indicators are made of 304 stainless steel, and they also work as a Getter Out bottle opener. And I'm now starting production on another model, which is for module gears. So this one here is from 4 through to 16 DP plus 32 DP at this end, and as I say, I'm going into production now on the second one. They're wire cut, so they're quite accurate, and they're a good indicator for a quick reference to find what the gear tooth is. This is a 20-degree pressure angle. There are, of course, 14.5-degree pressure angles as well, but it's pretty close. If you had to measure a 14.5, this will give you a pretty good indication of it anyway. So there's a slight differences in the angles, but a glance at the gear tooth will give you the DP rating. So there we go. There's the details. And the sales of these are to help support me in my educational YouTube videos. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back.